Sup, girl? Iron Fists. It's awful, but it's probably not racist. Join us as we talk about it. Let's go.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah. Sup, girl? All right, everybody, welcome back. So that's what we're talking about today. Iron Fist, the Iron Fist. We've been watching it.
Get into it.
We've been into it, as it were. I'm not terribly impressed, so I want to figure out your guys' opinions.
James.
Here's where we are. James knows everything about comic books. Chris has watched all of Iron Fist. Garrett has watched some of it, and I'm halfway through it. So we're going to have differing levels of conjecture and of disdain for the show. Well, Garrett ends up being the most optimistic, but I want to get out just right out of the open.
I mean, it's just
and say I don't think this show's racist. I understand the problem of like white person.
Why don't you explain to our viewers who don't know why people would call this racist?
Okay, so it's kind of sparked this controversy because there's this narrative going about, and I think it kind of has something to do with, or it seems like it might have something to do with the idea of the Great Wall in general, of like Matt Damon being this guy who comes from the West to save the East, and he's this outsider but a chosen one of sorts, or whatever. And so we're seeing the same kind of idea.
Or Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley.
Yeah, but he actually was the chosen one. He just took him a while to get there. And so the prophecies prophesied about a white ninja. And so
that's a serious movie.
Yeah,
you better watch your tongue when you're.
Like,
that one just makes sense. That one makes sense. There's no holes in that plot.
I'm pretty okay with like movie diversity of thought and opinions and stuff, but that's one movie you're not allowed
You're pretty
to crap
okay
on.
with diversity. I'm kind of okay with.
I mean,
totally
diversity of opinions on movies. However, uniformity regarding Beverly Hills Ninja is a demand that I have if you're going to be on my show. So the idea of this one though being of that, right, where this foreigner is like the heaven sent person, right, because he believes this narrative about himself, but at the same time the show also confirms that the whole time that he was training in Kunlun he was being made fun of for being an outsider, kind of like Guaylo, right?
Balls of Fury, another great movie. You're not allowed to bad mouth here.
Where again a white guy ends up being the savior of the Far East, played by Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken was the bad guy.
Yeah, but I mean the representative of the Far East. So, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's racist. I don't think it carries the same kind of connotations with it. I don't think he's a good actor. I think he's awful. I think the dialogue is terrible. I think his acting is awful. I think his martial arts are garbage.
Let me get it. No, I've not watched it. So, is it that the acting is bad or the dialogue is poorly written? Or is it both?
Yes. What do you think, Chris?
There are some kind of cheesy lines now and then.
Yeah.
But it's also it's one of those hard things because how do some of these lines not sound cheesy when a guy spends 15 years in a monastery and then shows up in New York? Some of the things you're gonna say, I mean,
I had the fastest donkey cart in Kunlun too. Like, what?
Yeah, but that's like if you met someone who came from a monastery, they might actually say that, and there's no way to deliver that without it.
I mean, there's this issue, right? So like he comes back and no one believes who he is, right? And he gets a chance to talk to this girl that they were friends with, and he's like, we were on the soccer team together, and I used to live here. And she's like, well, anyone could look that up. And he's like, he doesn't give her anything else. He doesn't like. He's gonna say, yeah. He's like,
when he goes,
sorry, I can't tell you. Like,
it takes like 4 episodes.
I've
something.
never driven a
while
car.
there's flashbacks of them doing. You could have said, remember that one time that we were playing Monopoly together.
But that's how they end up doing it. But
they needed to stretch it over 4 episodes.
When he goes, I've never driven a car before, and then all of a sudden he has an Aston Martin, and he drives his Aston Martin all over New York City.
Your Iron Fist sounds like Pete Holmes' Batman.
I mean, maybe. It doesn't sound like that. Maybe. But you know why it's also really hard to take him seriously? Because he just looks like a stupider version of Hyde from that 70s show. And so it's just like, dude, you should just be smoking a joint in the bathroom. Like, that's all your character should be doing, because I don't understand anything.
It's also got this Daredevil Foggy character element to it. Like everyone's just kind of annoying sometimes.
I just want to punch him in the face. Like, I'm the Iron Fist. I can't die. Wait, what? It's just like, then why are you ever scared of anything ever? Because commitment's hard for me to do sometimes. Well, okay, then you just got like general anxiety and you're like the most, the rest of us.
Generalizing.
But I was able to sit through this giant tattoo on my chest. Like, that'd be pretty
It's not exactly a tattoo, but you'll learn.
Yeah, okay.
You'll learn.
Anyway, so I don't know.
I think there's 2 important points that people are missing when they're discussing the racial side of this this discussion, right? Is that thing number 1 is that this comes out of an era of comic book storytelling when authors were perceiving the East as being very mystical, being a place where you could use as a story. You could present somebody from our neck of the woods, right? Some American going to the mystical place that's far away from here. We're talking 50s, 60s, and 70s writing. Going to this far off mystical place that most Americans in that time don't know much about, and learn something over there and come back with that mystical power. It's really in awe of the East, not in appropriation of it, right? It's one of ours going and being trained in a place that we find mysterious,
but subsequently coming back and saving our place from those people, right?
Well, but this is the way storytelling works, right? So now he comes, he beats a lot of locals up, but how do you up the ante? Well, the people that trained him come now, and now the ante of the challenge is risen, and that's just sort of like pretty standard form of storytelling, especially in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
But that doesn't mean it's not reinforcing negative stereotypes.
What negative stereotypes is it enforcing?
That all
Asians are good
people,
at karate.
Yeah, are mystics and can know kung fu and talk in proverbs.
All Asians do? I mean, do you think it's like pushing that stereotype, or do you think it's just or is it just portraying a writing that's coming out of an era when just the East is viewed mystically?
The writing might be portraying that stereotype.
Both, I guess.
Yeah, and then now the second point though is that
although to be fair, Madame Gao is super rad. Okay. She's awesome.
So the second point though is why is everybody upset about this just now? This is literally the story of Batman. Right, it's also the story of the Arrow.
Touche.
It's rich white guy going to the East to be trained.
Parents died.
Being one of their best students, coming back to the West, beating everybody up, including all the ninjas. That is Batman's story.
Yes.
And when Batman does that story, everyone loves it.
And I think that might be the thing that people are a little bit
tired
of.
That was Batman
though.
Begins.
Yeah, that is.
I have no doubt.
I think that is the thing that people are a little bit tired of, though. The idea of the West always being the victor, right? The big blah, blah, blah. But then the other side of that is like, it's because the West is telling the story. Like, you're always going to get...
And they created the story.
Yeah, the narrative coming from the place of origin, not usually is the place of origin going to make itself the bad guy.
But there's also, people were going after him, and Finn Jones, the main guy, shut down his Twitter.
Yeah.
The actor?
And he said, hey, try and give it a chance before. And I don't know, there's kind of some spoilers in it. I see why he couldn't say that. But the Iron Fist towards the end isn't always the victor. I'll just say that. It's not that he loses, but there's a lot of people around him that are not...
The story opens up so it's not only about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope the writing gets better. The plot seems pretty cool to me. I like the mystique of the hand. I like the mystique of Madame Gao. I really like trying to figure out why the heck... Wait.
I think the second half gets a little bit better when they move away from... I
don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, that's one of the hard things to talk about. And I can see why maybe the actor was a little bit frustrated when everyone was just assuming what the story was when
and
the
clearly
story
not
is
watching
more than
it.
that. Yeah.
And just that's the real problem is clearly not watching it. You know, if you watch it and you give it an honest shake and then you want to criticize it... that's fine.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. But just jumping on the echo
13
chamber,
hours later, it wasn't that bad.
The only thing that's completely unrealistic and terrible is when he has that really nice bed and he pulls the sheets off and sleeps on the floor.
That's actually not.
Nope, I refuse that.
No.
Nope, refute.
I have heard stories of that when people come over, it's sleeping on the floor because they think the mattresses are too soft.
Well, actually, case in point, I spent a couple of years sleeping on the floor because I thought mattresses are too soft.
Yeah, well, this is why
I can't even.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
ridiculous.
that's so dumb.
No, ask my wife and mother.
2017.
Ask my wife and mother when I from like 18 to 20 something, 22 maybe. I only slept on the floor.
But that's because you spent the majority of your time in the East, though.
But I heard the story
when you were learning karate.
When the Shaolin monks were over here doing an exhibition, that some of them preferred sleeping on the floor because they said the soft bed gave them backaches.
Okay, that's fair. But also, when you're a Shaolin monk, you can do whatever you want. So.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what he's supposed to have been.
I know, but nobody's going to do that when you get $1 billion and you're in a penthouse. He's not going to spend his first night on the floor. You're going to try the bed. He looked behind the pillow in that episode to look for something. Did you see him when he pulls that pillow back? Spoiler alert, he pulls the pillow back looking for something.
What does he look for?
I don't know. That's the thing I don't
Where's my
understand.
mint?
Spirit.
My mint fell off.
It's probably his like
So
Tanto blade or something like that. Okay, so he's number.
It would have been great if a snake just jumped out and bit him.
He's number 4 in the defenders of.
And the 4 people who can punch things good.
Is that what's it called?
Defenders.
The defenders.
The defenders. Okay, is that?
I thought it
And
was
there's only
Heroes for
4. I
Hire.
thought there was 5.
The punchers.
It just depends on what era
Oh,
we're
okay.
in.
Depends on what
Well,
era. The Punisher's part of it or not. Punisher's
Rosario Dawson's character shows up about midway through Iron Fist, and
Hmm.
she starts training too. So who knows?
She's the connection to every character. She's been in
Yeah.
every show.
the nurse,
Which is
right?
kind
Oh,
of
the
funny
nurse?
because there's a part
Yeah,
where
she's
she's
tight.
like, she's like, you can't do this alone. He's like, well, I need to, and she doesn't. She's not like, well, I know 3 other people that might be able to help. She's like,
And those 3 other people are going to be ticked off when she decided to help him and not them.
yeah.
They're very
She
big.
said no to the rest.
There's a lot of people competing for her time.
Isn't she hanging out with Luke Cage? Aren't they dating?
No.
No, I think
No.
she hooked up with Daredevil.
No, she
No,
doesn't.
I don't know.
No, she dates Luke Cage for a while. Or is that the cop? That's the cop that ends up with Luke Cage, right?
Yeah, she doesn't date Luke Cage. She just helped him out.
No, but who?
So,
Okay, whatever.
The-
Feel bad for her
Defenders.
character. Everybody uses her to get patched up, and then they just leave her.
so the question is do all characters get 2 seasons like Daredevil, or is the next Marvel Netflix show going to be the Defenders? Do we know that?
I'm
The
afraid that
Defenders is
I'm
gonna
afraid
come
Netflix is
after
gonna
Punisher.
collapse, man.
Punisher. Okay.
I'm scared of Netflix
Collapsing?
collapsing in general, dude.
What?
They have I've been reading. They have so much debt right now, and they're like not making as much capital. Like it's not looking good for them. So
They invested a lot of money on
But
it.
this is these are Marvel properties.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they've been overpaying for everything. So I don't know. Okay, so let's do this. If you haven't watched it yet and you're just critiquing it for being racist because whatever, because YOLO,
I mean, it kind of is.
I'd say
but-
watch it before you deem it as such.
Well,
I think
but
it's important to
and
at
you
least
don't
hear it
have to
out.
watch it, but you also don't have to jump in the echo chamber and add to
Yeah.
the fur.
Yeah.
Like, so no, you don't have to watch it, but you also don't have to add to something you know anything about.
Yeah. So are you gonna finish it?
Oh, yeah.
Are you hoping for season 2, Chris?
I think so. I think,
Is
I think I judge action things on a different scale.
Yeah, me too.
And
It's
the fighting-
entertaining,
Different
right?
than whatever other people do?
well,
Or-
I think that things should be judged by their purpose.
Right.
So if an action movie entertains me with good fight scenes, I will let some other things like a little corny dialogue slide.
Yeah.
And I think the fight scenes in this are well choreographed.
Yeah.
And
What about all corny dialogue?
well,
So,
there
like,
is
do you watch Supergirl?
there is like a breaking point, right? Because that was my beef with Luke Cage, that
Yeah.
he doesn't just walk across the neighborhood and punch that guy's head off. You know, they have to keep making up excuses for why he can't do that. It's like, you're invincible. The bad guy is just a dude. You just walk over there and be like, hey, knock it off, or I'm going to punch you to death. But
I'm
he
gonna
doesn't.
punch you good.
Yeah. But
Well,
he doesn't. He,
I don't
all I have to
understand
do.
why he never hits the main bad guy throughout that season, and yet he knocks out a bunch of other people.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, it was just like,
I have too much
Why?
self-respect to hit you, and I just got done hitting like 50 other people.
Your henchman. I killed
Yeah.
6 of them on the way
So-
here, but you know what? We're good.
that kind of made me nuts, where beyond what I could let slide.
Yeah.
But you have to watch it. I mean, if they come out with a season 2 of Luke Cage and then they announce the Defenders and all the storylines,
Then
come
I have
together,
to watch it, so I have to know, so I know all the storylines. But
I haven't
you have
done.
to.
I haven't even gotten through the second season of Daredevil yet because I
Oh,
can't
dude.
bring myself to deal with Foggy. Dude, like I'm trying.
I hate Foggy
so
He
so
might-
hard.
much.
Hopefully he'll die in one of them. Hopefully he'll die.
Just run over. Or
That'd be a good way to
impaled.
start the Defenders. Just the first scene.
Barrel,
just,
barrel.
just an airplane
Matt,
diving right into
Matt,
Foggy.
stop fighting evil and just let life. And then someone has him strangling, and Matt's like,
you have to
All
finish
right,
season
fine.
2 because you have to get all the Punisher story, which was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. Yeah, I don't know anything. I don't even know what the Punisher is. So okay, so Chris is down
dude.
for second season. Garrett's gonna
It's a
finish.
white dude.
I'm gonna finish. Are you gonna finish?
Yeah, I'll watch Luke Cage, but I mean, I'm
Not
not
Luke
Luke
Cage.
Cage. Excuse me.
Iron
fine, I'll
Iron
watch Luke
Fist.
Cage.
Yeah, I'll probably go
It's
make
fun.
it through Iron
It's
Fist.
fun. It's definitely
Is it,
fun. I
is
enjoy
it fair that I can't take him seriously as a lesser version of David Hyde Pierce? I mean, Danny Masterson.
That was the first thing I thought when I saw him too.
Okay, I'm
was
glad- I'm
Danny
glad I'm not the only
Masterson.
one.
He's like, Hyde?
Yeah, I just. So there you have it. We are the definitive voices on all things Iron Fist. If you want to let us know what you think of it, if you're watching it right now, go ahead and drop your post in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to share, subscribe, and make sure people know about it. Thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you soon.
Later.
But